Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. A 17-year-old is facing charges after a bear spray incident involving an off-duty police officer. Around 6:45 Saturday evening, police were called to 6th Avenue and 22nd Street East for a weapons call. Arriving officers found an off-duty police member had detained a male on 22nd Street. Police say the off-duty member was driving when the suspect ran across the street. When the officer rolled down his window to speak to him, the suspect allegedly discharged bear spray into the vehicle. The 17-year-old is charged with possession of a weapon and assault with a weapon. He was in provincial court today. Despite having hosted it 3 years ago, the CFL is bringing the Grey Cup game back to Saskatchewan.
The 114th Grey Cup, to be played in 2027, has been awarded to the great province of Saskatchewan and the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
CFL Commissioner Stuart Johnston announcing the Riders will host the 2027 Grey Cup. It's the 5th time in franchise history Saskatchewan will host the game after doing so in 1995, 2003, 2013 when the Riders won it all, and most recently in 2022.
Things were starting to stabilize on the business side, and we sort of had the conversation, and you have to have the conversation. You need buy-in from your team, and we had the conversation, are we ready to do this? And went to our board and sort of said, we think we're ready to potentially put forward a bid.
It was a professional event. And then combined with that, you had the warmth of the community. And you put those two things together, it makes some magic. And we were fully confident that Saskatchewan can put on another great show.
2027 will be the first full season. The recently announced rule changes will all be in effect. The Grey Cup will be November 7th, a week earlier than normal. That's a result of the regular season being pushed up by a week. Big changes are on the horizon for a Saskatchewan First Nation and surrounding area with a $100 million economic development project in North Battleford. A sod turning was held on the site of a new development which will feature the relocation and expansion of the Gold Eagle Casino. It's led by the Mosquito Grizzly Bears Head Lean Man First Nation and will also benefit neighboring First Nations. The development will include a casino, convention center, and other businesses sitting on 67 acres of land within the city off Highway 16. The chief says this project will benefit First Nations people for generations.
It's a historic day, and it's been in the works for a couple of decades, but in reality, a hard push in the last 2 years.
We're just really pleased with this land sale here. This is the most significant value land sale the city of North Battleford has ever had, so we're celebrating that to start with, and lots more to come.
There is no official timeline on when the development will be up and running. All right, Jeff, it's CFL playoffs. Are we getting CFL playoff type of weather across the country, or more specifically in this province?
No, I think we're getting exactly that. Temperatures are back to more seasonal values, Sean, and as we head into the next couple of days, we're keeping our eye on this system that's really bringing a lot of rain, mostly to Manitoba. Some of them might impact the extreme southeastern parts of Saskatchewan, but there's also this other system. It looks like it's going to impact mostly areas north of Prince Albert, but you never know. Might get a few flakes in the overnight, and we'll talk about that later on.
The First Nations Health Ombudsperson is out with the inaugural report, hoping to shed a light and help end healthcare disparities for First Nations people. Diane LaFawn's office has received roughly 500 complaints just over 2 years after being created. And the data shows a variety of complaints ranging from emergency room or hospital stays to pharmacies and long-term care facilities. LaFawn says First Nations people haven't felt safe returning back to a hospital or area where they feel they were mistreated. And until her office was created, they didn't know where to go to file a complaint or advocate for themselves.
Voices that have been silent, First Nations, need to be included in a lot of the decision-making and policies that are created within these systems, because a lot of times they're not working for us.
LaFawn says 64% of cases and complaints come from Saskatchewan Health Authority services. The NDP is raising concerns about the number of encampments in Saskatoon and is calling on the province to address homelessness. The Saskatoon Fire Department says encampments have been reported in every neighborhood in the city. Data from the fire department shows more than 1,200 encampments have been reported as of September 1st, and more than 350 have been cleared. While all of last year, crews cleared 218. To help address homelessness, the NDP says the provincial government should change how Saskatchewan income support is delivered so that landlords get paid instead of recipients, repair vacant social housing units, and establish rent control.
So the government needs to really take leadership over this issue, stop downloading responsibility onto the municipalities, and come up with a comprehensive plan that will get people housed across our province.
The provincial government says it has made significant investments to address homelessness, saying it's created more than 100 supportive housing spaces and enhanced emergency shelters and 30 complex needs shelters. It also says there is direct pay of income support for clients who need it. A Saskatoon murder trial is now into its second week. 28-year-old Andrew Rosenfeld is accused of killing his 20-year-old girlfriend, Nakira Brown. She was found shot dead on November 15th, 2022, inside the home they shared on Avenue P South. So far, the court has heard from responding officers, a close friend of Brown's, and the forensic pathologist who performed the autopsy. Today, the police officer who found the gun took the stand. He testified he found it inside the apartment, tucked under the box spring of the couple's bed. A cat has died following a fire over the weekend in Saskatoon. Firefighters were called Saturday afternoon to a fire in 3:30 in a home in the 100 block of 7th Street East. A fire was burning in the basement. Everyone inside at the time was able to get out, except for a pet cat who was found dead by crews. An investigator is now looking into the cause and damage estimate. A Saskatoon man is frustrated after learning that his recently installed solar panels aren't shaving much off his power bill. Dylan Malik, an engineer by trade, spent around $10,000 and many hours installing solar panels for his home. While those who generate their own power still have to pay for it, they are granted credit for the power they produce, which is subtracted from their monthly bill. Malik says Sask Power's 7.5 cents per kilowatt of hour produced does not make it any easier for people looking to go green.
You can't actually make money in the sense that if you overproduce. So they do that whole credit system, so it's not a rebate. So if I overproduce and I have, let's say, $1,000 worth of credits, I'm never going to get a payout for that, which is fine. But they just, the payback is just not even there to break even easily.
Sask Power says it's reviewing programs to ensure fairness, and this rate was renewed in 2021 after public consultation. After the break, falling temperatures mean upcoming events in roping and riding. Jasmine Pelche checks in with the team at the Red River Roping and Riding Arena. As the temperatures drop, active Saskatchewan residents will continue their passions indoors if they can. With some upcoming events, Jasmine Pelche catches up with the Red River Roping and Riding Club.
How long has the Roping and Riding Club been active?
51 years this 51 years. We celebrated our 50th anniversary last year, so we are a force to be reckoned with because it is a place that you can gather and it's just part of our history. It's part of our community.
Next to the Christmas dinner and dance, what other sort of events does the club put on throughout the year?
Well, first of all, we do penning jackpots here, and 3 of our young ladies that ride here came home from the provincial penning finals in August, and they won the buckles for the 5 class, which is, you know, people from Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, besides a lot of other prizes. So we're really proud of Cody and Caitlin and Katie. They did an awesome job representing our club. We're doing a sorting jackpot here on November 8th. We're going to do a sorting clinic, and that's where you learn to do things. So we like to teach. We don't just do competitions. We like to teach. November 1st, we're going to do a gymkhana, which, you know, even I, as an old lady, got to participate in a few years ago. But the young kids really like that, and that's on November 15th.
Do you have to be a club member to participate in these types of events, or how does that work? No, you don't have to be a club member. That's what we like to do. We like to bring in people that are not club members because they need to know, am I going to be something, is this going to be something that I am going to be interested in, my child is interested in? So when someone new comes, they're just enfolded by the members here, introduced to different things, and then they're just guided along. If this is something they like to do, then this is the place that they usually find home. If someone's brand new, I'm assuming they might not, already have their own horse. So do they just have to find a horse to bring here, or is there somebody that could help them out with that? How does that work?
Well, sometimes, right. You're not just going to go out and buy a horse just to do this. We don't have a whole lot on site here right now. It's something that we're looking at, is to have some very safe, friendly horses that we can lead and guide these kids in. For the penning, we usually have someone that has an old seasoned horse. That's how I learned is, the horse knew what to do. I just kind of hung on. But that's what the kids do, is they come and everybody just helps them out, and you go slow and you just learn the various whatever you want to do, sorting, penning, gymkhana, all that kind of stuff.
Is there a difference between the kind of stuff you do when there's snow on the ground versus in the summer?
More we can do outside. We host our penning sanction in May, and that's outside. In the wintertime, we're inside, but we're also very, very cognitive of, if it's too cold, we're not going to bring horses or cattle or anything in here, run them, and then, so some weather kind of calls the shots sometimes in the wintertime.
If someone wants more information on the roping and riding club, not necessarily the events, but the club itself and the kind of things that you guys offer, where can they go to find that?
We do have a website. You just have to type in the Red River Roping and Riding Arena, and there's a website where you can ask any questions. It gives you all of the different kinds of things. Facebook, again, and just message someone. Someone will definitely get back to you with more information.
Okay, sounds good.
When we come back, Jeff will give us the work week weather, and later, familiar foes face off for the Prairie Football Conference Championship. All right, Jeff, when you start talking about the weather map there, it looks like the South and the North Dakotas are kind of two siblings having a fight, and they're pushing their problems up north.
Yeah, it sure looks that way, because we do have a lot of rain, particularly in Manitoba, and we'll show you that on the radar shot here. The satellite radar indicating, yes, we do have a lot of moisture coming up from the US of A into particularly Manitoba, and so certainly in around the Winkler area, that's where they expect to see a lot of rain, maybe up to 50 millimeters of rain by the time all things are said and done in the Winnipeg area, maybe 20 to 30 millimeters of rain. But for northern Saskatchewan, we've got this low pressure area that's sort of cycling around and slowly moving into northern Saskatchewan, and Prince Albert will be on the edge of that storm, so there could be showers changing to flurries, so we'll keep our eye on that. But like I said, we're just on the edge of that in Prince Albert. There you go, the Futurecast indicating that bullseye that's way up north, and so you can just see a few flurries just sort of slipping way below there, and then sort of just moving north or in and around Prince Albert, so not a big bullseye on the gateway city when it comes to rain or snow. -1 overnight under cloudy skies in Spiritwood, 1 on the plus side for the Battleford, 0 in Candle Lake with cloudy conditions. Birch Hills 1, partly cloudy skies in Rostern, 1 degree. 1 degree as well in Nipawin and Melfort. And now as we take a closer look at what's going on tomorrow for the Prince Albert region, Spiritwood, mainly cloudy skies, 3 degrees, mainly cloudy, and 6 in the Battlefords, 4 under cloudy skies in Candle Land O'Lake, 5 degrees under cloudy skies in Birch Hills and Rostern, 6 degrees in Nipawin, albeit under cloudy skies, and cloudy as well in Melfort with a daytime high of 4. And yes, these temperatures are back to at or below seasonal values. So here we go for Prince Albert area. So as I said, we are right on the edge of that system. So 0 degrees with a slight chance of showers changing to flurries, winds out of the west at 20 in the overnight period. And then as we roll into Tuesday in the Gateway City and area, cloudy skies, and the winds really pick up. Sustained winds of 30 kilometers an hour, gusting to 50, a daytime high of just 5, which is pretty much where we would typically be this time of October as we get closer to Halloween. So let's take a look at Wednesday. Mainly cloudy skies and 8 degrees. Then on Thursday, the day before Halloween, Halloween's Eve, we have a high of 4 degrees with a 40% chance of flurries. But then on Halloween itself, mainly cloudy skies, 4 degrees, warming up a little bit on Saturday, mainly cloudy conditions, and 6 Sunday, 7 degrees with mainly cloudy skies. And Monday, a bit more in the way of sunshine, but it doesn't pump up the temperatures all that much, staying at 7 for Monday. So 1 week from today, you know, not too bad. But really, we shouldn't be surprised. This is the kind of conditions we get typically at the end of October, early November.
I think somebody was saying on the radio the other night, usually Halloween is a good indicator of whether there's snow, and you might need those football cleats if that's part of your costume, if there's a little line on the ground still. Speaking of football, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they wrapped up the regular season on the weekend with a 27-21 loss to the BC Lions.
Second down at the goal, they're trying to field goal. Here's Rourke in trouble, makes the move, tosses it ahead. Did they get it? Hatcher came back to it. They'll say incomplete. The ruling of the field's overturned. Touchdown, BC.
The Riders did reach their goal, a first-place finish in the West and a chance to host the division final at Mosaic Stadium. Hosting the West final for the first time since 2019, the Riders hope to make their first trip to the Grey Cup final since they won it in 2013. With an extra week of preparation and time to heal, the team says it's confident.
We want to win, man. That sucks. But I know for sure, no matter what, this team will scrap. And that's truthfully, I think, some of the DNA that you're going to have going into these playoffs.
You don't change a thing, you know. I think you just attack each and every single day the same way that you've been doing the entire time, and now is not the time to just try new things and think something else is going to make something happen. I think you just keep chopping wood and carrying water.
The Riders will face the winner of the West semifinal November 8th at Mosaic Stadium. Saskatchewan beat BC 2 of 3 games and lost both against Calgary. The Prairie Football Conference Championship between the visiting Saskatoon Hilltops and the Regina Thunder needed overtime to decide a winner.
We put a lot of hard work in it, just like Regina has, and so we wanted to make sure that we were going to finish strong.
The PFC final.
That was the game-winning touchdown pass to give the Hilltops a 30-27 victory. The Thunder won last year's PFC final against the Hilltops, that one in Saskatoon. The Hilltops had 145 yards in penalties and needed to score 8 points late in the fourth quarter just to force overtime. The Thunder missed 2 field goals in the final seconds of the game that could have won it for their side.
At first, I had to catch it. I had to, no ifs, ands, and buts. The guy was guarding me. I guess he thought I was doing another route, so when I hit him with the corner, then I hit him with the post, he fell for it. It's great. It's great. It's great. It's a great feeling.
We put a lot of hard work in it, just like Regina has, and so we wanted to make sure that we were going to finish strong, and we were going to finish for each other, and they did that today. And as I said, all we do is we get to play another week.
The Hilltops have the most CJFL championships in league history with 23. They'll try for a 24th when they host the Okanagan Sun for the 117th Canadian Bowl at SMF Field November 9th.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
expensive new drug that can slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease has been given the green light by Health Canada. Existing medications treat symptoms of Alzheimer's, but lecanemab is the first drug authorized for use in Canada that targets the underlying cause of the disease. The hope is to reduce the rate of cognitive and functional decline. Toronto neurologist Dr. Sharon Cohen calls it an important milestone. She says Canadian patients could get their first doses of lecanemab by the end of the year. But it's costly. In the United States, where it's already approved, the drug costs $26,000 US. Canada is set to lose its status as a measles-free country. This as an outbreak that began in New Brunswick hits the one-year mark. Canada eliminated measles in 1998 and maintained that status for more than 25 years, meaning there was no ongoing community transmission and any cases were travel-related. But since October 27th of last year, the virus has spread to more than 5,000 people in Canada, including 2 infants in Ontario and Alberta who died as a result of the virus. Experts blame declining vaccination rates, as well as this disruption to routine immunizations during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Brought to you by Saskatchewan Union of Nurses. Thank you to Saskatchewan's 11,000 registered nurses.
All right, Jeff, Saskatchewan's best settlers of Catan faced off for the chance to represent their province on the national stage. The popular board game has a global following, and local qualifying tournaments like this one give players a chance to qualify for the Catan Canada National Championship, rather. Emmanuel Vella won the local competition and is now eligible to compete in the national event. The winner of the national event will qualify for the Catan World Championship or the Catan Americas Tournament, depending on the year. Now, Jeff, do you play some Settlers yourself, or some Catan as it's now known as?
No.
Never played it? It's a tough one.
Never played it.
It's a fun one if you've got easy friends. If you've got friends that like to study and figure out how to beat everyone else, it gets real not fun real fast, and that's my friends.
Well, I'll have to wait for the movie because the film rights have been licensed as of last week. So
that's right. There you go. It's shortened now. It's just Catan, they say.
Thank goodness.
2015 they changed it.